So hello everyone. So let us start the session because we have already more than 10 minutes break. So again, Dr. Hasing.
Dear all, good morning once again. Welcome to you the second session of the day. Today we have the second session will be taken by Dr. Sanjay Kataria sir about research data information management, and the moderator of the session again we have Raija Elenjula ma'am. So it's over to you ma'am, Dr. Aisa ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Singh. So as Dr. Singh has mentioned, we are in our second session, and we're back here again, strong with 160 participants. So our topic now is on research data and information management, a very relevant topic, something that I'm very excited to talk about, to listen to. So as we may all know, open science and open research both advocate that research and scientific communication systems should serve the public interest, which becomes especially urgent under the current scenario with the pandemic. This is a way of democratizing data, making it more accessible for everyone. So professionals, including us librarians, are currently working with information technology and data services to leverage on our expertise to support research, teaching, and learning. I am pretty sure that our next speaker has exciting intellectual and scholarly input on this topic. Hence, may I proceed to introduce our speaker. So our speaker, I've known him actually in 2009, the same as Dr. Shri when I went to India and participated in one of the ATLIS conference. So he has been, he's another prominent and respected scholar internationally and in India as well. He has more than 2 decades of experience in library administration and management, has been a recipient of Commonwealth Professional Fellow twice and instrumental in the application of ICT-based library services. He has conceptualized and organized an international symposium of ATLIS 6 times. And as I mentioned, there was one participant in this conference, prestigious conference, and many other workshops and seminars. He has been awarded Young Librarian Award, SETCAL Young Librarian Award, University Librarian Award, and many other recognition for his credit. He has introduced many concepts for user engagement as well. So without much further ado, it is my honor to introduce to you our next resource person, Dr. Sanjay Kataria. Dr. Sanjay, I gave you the floor.
Yeah, you can unmute, sir, and you can share the PPT also.
Good morning, Siram. I need a permission. For
yes, please go ahead.
Siram, is it visible?
Yes, perfectly.
So, good morning, everyone. And thanks to my dear friend, Raisha. Raisa, you made this show a great success. And yes, I remember our association since 2012. You participated in the ATLIS conference. That was a great time. And we had a good professional network globally. And before starting my presentation, at least let me congratulate Dr. Sera, who's doing a lot of hard work since a few months, and he did a lot in Thapar Institute Library in terms of modernization and promotion of the research activities over there. And this is one of the initiative from his side for this conference is really, there's a need of our in this particular librarianship. Because if you look at the librarianship in the last 10 or 20 years ago, how this traditional libraries survived, it was almost like a passive library system. User used to approach the libraries and library people and supposed to provide what they're exactly looking for. And so there was a role of libraries. The librarian was limited to the library premises. And after evolution of this ICT, a lot of things has been changed over the period of time. And nowadays, if you look at this how electronic sources and the ICT change the perception of the users, and how this libraries have changed over the period of time. And many of libraries are still struggling, with many of issues like footfall is decreasing day by day. Users are getting the doorstep access, and they hardly need to realize that they should go to librarian and meet librarians. Most of library resources are still underutilized, especially in print. Majority of institution is able to utilize the 40 to 50% of resources available in the library. Major problem is that there is no synchronization, there is no mapping of the resources with the libraries. And librarian is not having a kind of visibility in this academic system because of this limited role. And therefore, keeping all those lot of these issues in mind, librarian will have to explore and expand the library scope. And this research support is another one of the step towards to make the library more useful, more relevant. And again, library can have a more visibility. And more important is that we can talk on return on investment, what we are investing, and how those that having an impact of those investment on that in terms of academics is another one of research step towards to make the library more useful, more relevant. And again, the library can have a more visibility. So, more important is that Siram is there a problem on investment, what we are investing, and how that having an impact of. Hello, Siram.
Yes, sir.
I think so. There is some voice problem. I'm getting my voice.
No, it's perfect, sir. You are getting an echo?
Yeah. Anyway, let me start. So that's why I must congratulate the AICTE libraries and library entire team. And if you all people look at the initiative took place in this Thapar in Central Libraries. Yesterday, Dr. Seyram has presented how they designed that portal, which really can help the academic community and the scholar community over there. Similarly, we also initiated the research support services at Bennett University. If you look at my university library website, that is in library.bennett.edu.in, and you can see the kind of initiative we have took at Bennett University. We also have designed a research support system over there, and also designed the subject portals. And what we have done over there, that just have mapped all the resources available within the library. What Professor Rainer said yesterday, there is a need to have to people should know what exactly is available within the library, so that library resources can be utilized effectively, efficiently. So, purpose to address all these issues, because we all librarians and libraries are struggling all these issues, especially underutilization of resources, decreasing portfolio day by day, not having optimal utilization of the resources, and due to poor visibility of the library in their academic institution. Therefore, this kind of step is certainly will impact our working, that have more, they will increase our visibility, and library can play a very important role in supporting research and academic activity in the institutions. Today, I'm going to talk on research data management. Dr. Sriram is given already one overview of that, how research, first step of the research, that is in a literature review, literature search, literature strategies and all. But once this, I'm going to have another second or third step. When you're going to start a research, when somebody is going to start a research, this is first step, what Sriram has presented in last session, how they have to extract the data from different sources, how they have to curate a different, literature.
Dr. Sanjay,
Yeah.
So can you please adjust your mic? So it's a little bit low.
Okay. So what Sriram said, that was the first step, and my presentation is almost second or third step of this research, because research data management is one of the important aspects in terms of the research. Because when somebody is going to start a research, they have to start the research with the searching literature, curating different literatures, and some kind of other data. And I'm going to talk about the research data management, and how this research data can play an important role, and how library can contribute in terms of the research data management. So before starting in the presentation, I would like to tell how that this presentation will go around this sub different topics. Then we will discussing about the research data, type of the research data, why to manage research data, what exactly the research data management, how to manage the research data, who are the stakeholder involved in managing the research data, and what should be included in the research data management plan. And finally, I will be demonstrating practically and how you people can initiate the research data management activity in the respective institutions. Though my job made simple by Dr. Usha Mazumunsi, yesterday she spoke on open access publishing models, and she also highlighted on research data management, and she rightly said, demonstrated how this research open access publishing and open data is impacting the research activities globally. So, let us understand the research data. Research data is a data which is generated, curated, collected during the research process. When somebody is going to start a research, he or she has to collect, what Sriram said, that literature, search studies and all. After, getting literature, they used to analyze the literature. And then what Sriram said, that strategic planning, especially for the research. When somebody is going to start a research, he or she has to plan a number of things together. And one of the important thing is the research data management plan. Yesterday, Dr. Susha has rightly said that number of institutions, number of funding agencies, now they're expecting, that research data management plan along with the research proposal. When somebody is going to, submit a proposal for research grant, they're expected that they should submit what is the data, how they're going to manage and preserve the research data for long term. So research data is a data which is generated, curated, collected during the research process, and this particular research data helping scientists, a scholar, to validate the research findings. So this is an important. You look at that how data this research data is an important. Even the research data is I must say that is more important than the research publication, because the scholar is supposed to publish the research based on the research data available and analyze it during the research process. So if you look at the formal definition of the research data, the University of Leicester has defined the research data. They said that that is a recorded factual material commonly accepted in the scientific community as necessary to validate research findings. Similarly, that University of Sheffield is also defined the research data needed to validate results presented in scientific publication, or the evidence used to inform or support research conclusion. So if you look at the importance of the research data, how the research data is an important, and no research can be concluded and can be completed without having a proper research data and proper analysis of the research data. And research data is only helping a scholar to complete the research process. So next question is that what kind of research data is available with us? Research data can be anything which is helping research community, research scholar to analyze, to find, to conclude the research. And if you look at the social scientists, social scholars, social science people, they used to start a research with a lot of literature. They used to conduct different kind of survey, field survey, and people used to conduct interviews. And all these, collecting data through interviews or the survey, we used to, organize those particular data in a spreadsheet, or we are designing a different databases. And there is some research, which is an experimental research. They used to do a lot of research in the laboratory. And during those, research process, they used to use different kind of chemical compositions, different kind of instruments, different kind of research materials. And there is some more people, there is other scholars, they used to use the images, videos, audios, files. Even if somebody is, doing research as using a notepad in their labs, or any kind of observations of observation data, they used to note that there, different data during the research process. They had a different kind of observations. They used to do a lot of noting during the research. That particular notebook is also considered as research data. So that research, in case a librarian or library is going to create any kind of awareness among the research fraternity, what exactly is the research data, what kind of research data they're going to generate, how that data can be documented and can be preserved, can be managed more effectively, efficiently, and then how the research data can make an impact. Next question is that why we should manage the research data. This is one of the common questions we are getting from that scholar community. What is the mean of, why should we manage the research data? What is the benefit of it? So first and foremost, I must say that this research data is such important. Today we are doing some research, or say what Sridham said, that number of research is taking place on corona. But and if you probably some of you are aware that some of company in India, I'm not going to name of that company. That companies claim that they have they found an vaccine for the coronavirus, corona disease, COVID-19. So, and thereafter, because they had not gone through the process and procedure for the discovering a vaccine, and they have not taken a due approval, and they have not taken that the system in confidence. Therefore, that government of India declined that exactly is not the COVID-19 vaccine. But later on, that vaccine is named as the boosting immune system and all. So in case, the companies who's going to design the drugs or vaccine for any kind of disease, they have to go through a different process and procedures, and they have to follow some certain steps. And those process and procedures, and having a different kind of stages, having a different kind of data. They have observational data, they have some kind of chemical reactions, they have a kind of instrumental analysis. So whatever process they are taking place, that exactly considered as research data, because the research involved a lot of time, effort, and energy. Even if you look at many of you did your PhD, and how much effort you did during your PhD, number of data you people have collected during your research. So in case suddenly you are say, take an example, you are close to complete your research, and my whole data is available in my laptop, and suddenly my laptop get crashed, or I just my whole research data is available in my research laboratory, and somehow I got on fire and damage all the item over there. So therefore, in case we are having a kind of planning quite well in advance, what kind of research data we are going to generate, curate, collect, and how we are going to organize, and how we are going to save that particular data. So the research data, why should we manage? Because it is saving a lot of time and energy of the research scholar, is avoiding losing the research data. And research data, in case we are able to manage the research data effectively, and uploading the research data on, in some of research data repository, and that data can be utilized by others. They can save the research data, and research data also, giving a kind of transparency in the research, because in case somebody is claiming any kind of research and somebody is challenge that particular research, so that particular scholar can given us justification, can prove that the research by providing the research data. Look at my research data, and based on the research data, I have concluded this particular research. And research, in case we are putting the research data in public domain, that research will enhance will help an other scholar to make reuse of the data, and so the reproducibility of the research. And next is that comply the research policy. A lot of funding agencies, like yesterday the Pusha is also said, not of international funding, even the government Indian funding agency, they also starting expecting the research data management plan. And number of institution or university, in my university, at least we had not a mandate, kind of policies as on date, but we already has initiated the research data management process in our university. As a librarian, I'm teaching my research scholars one paper that is in research skills, and I'm ensuring that each and every research scholar have their own account in this kind of data management open data repository, where because they're going to start the research in next 2 to 3 years, they will have a different kind of research data, and that research data not only will be useful for them this during the research, but that data can be utilized after a year or 2 or 5 years. So in case they are able to plan the research data management quite well in advance, they can. And if you look at the publisher side, publisher not only publishing the commercial journals, but they also initiated number of data journals, research data journals. They are not only publishing the research paper, but also publishing the research data in the research journals. So look at there is a number of publishers. They started research data publishing and research data publishing, and that this kind of data is equally important and impactful for the research. Last but not the least, that research, in case we are going to manage our research data, we are putting our research data in public domain, our research having a more visibility, more accessibility. Even when you're going to upload a research data into repository, I will show you practically. In case you are going to upload your research data in any of open access open data repository, that you can give a DOI of your research publication, and people who's working on the same area, they will happy to go through your research data and the research publication. And that there is a simple philosophy what Sriram said: when you want to increase your citation, when you want to increase your H index, that is a simple philosophy, that research should be available in public domain. And research, in case your research has a more visibility, more accessibility, that research will be more cited. And that in case research you people are getting more citation, that means H index of the research scholar will go high. This is a simple calculation. Next, let us understand the research data management plan. Research data management is nothing kind of a process for organizing a data, storing a data, preservation of a data, and for ultimate purpose is the sharing and the reuse of the data. And this is the research data management life cycle. Starting with the planning. Planning involved the policies. Each and every institution, organization, or the country should have to have even India is having some kind of research data policies nowadays. They're talking about. Yesterday, Dr. Usha also spoke about Plan S. They also had a kind of policies. Number of funding agencies or that consortium, they had all policy related to research data management. And again, they have to look at an integrity and ethics of the research data. And somebody is when going to plan research data, that means planning means who's going to do documentation of the research data. This is one of the important. So planning is one of the important and first step of the research data management. Second is the creating of research data. When we are going to start a research and you're going to collect data from different sources, fields, experiment, or some observational data, some interviews data, whatever data is there. And first and foremost, we have to understand which data have to be collected and from where, and how long data has a visibility value of that particular data. There's a lot of things, have to decide quite well in advance. And especially then when we are going to create a data, we are curate the data, that again have a documentation of data. Because who will be better than the research scholar or the research fraternity who understand the research data, because they are going to generate research. They know the utility of that particular data. And then we're then going to create a documentation of metadata, and then they have to look at what kind of file format they're going to use. This is one of the most important factor, because we have to somehow avoid all that kind of commercial or the proprietary file formats, and we should have to have a kind of open system, open access, open file formats, so that that file can be utilized and can be retrieved and can be copied later on. And then next step is that managing your research data. That means how you are going to store your research data. That is one of the important. There is are you going to store your data in a virtual environment or physical environment? How you are ensuring the security of your data? What kind of step you are that involved in just ensure your data is safe, and how you are going to provide in security, virtual environment as well as in physical environment. Thereafter, talking about sharing of data. Sharing of data, when once somebody is going to share that data, first and foremost is the legal compliance. Who is having a right of that particular data? Because there is an again kind of argument when somebody is doing research in particular organization, some companies, pharma companies, that some scientists are working, with some pharma companies and going to create and generate a different kind of research data, or in a university system, research scholar are doing research and they are collecting, curating, or generating research data. So who has an actually legal right of that particular? And if you look at the for a traditional publication, faculty or the scholar used to publish the research data with the publisher and having an agreement with the publisher. Then some cases there is some situations, some cases the author having a right, especially that if you look at an gold publishing, because you are paying for that, you are giving an APC to the publisher and you are holding the right. So when you are going to share your data, you have to keep in your mind that who is having a right. Say in my university, when I got an appointment letter, they have clear cut given a kind of clauses in that appointment letter, that in case anything any intellectual output, the university will be holding the rights. So when we are going to share the research data, we have to ensure that who basically having a right, and we are not having breaching that kind of legal aspect and rights, and then ownership. And then after when we are going to upload the data in some of public repository, how we are citing the data, that I will be showing the practical. Yesterday, Dr. Usha Mazumulsi's talk was talking about FAIR Principle. And if you look at this is the website of FAIR Principle, if you click here, how the FAIR Principle is initiated, kind of council is involved, kind of people are involved, and what exactly the philosophy behind this FAIR. FAIR stand for FAIR. That means findable, accessible, interoperable, and reuse. Is in case if you look at the FAIR principle in context of research data management, that's say whatever research data you are going to generate and curate and manage, you have to ensure that you are able to find the data, because in case you are going to upload a data in a repository, each repository giving a kind of DOI, unique identifier, so that data can be retrieved easily, quickly, efficiently. When talking about accessibility, that means your data should be available on open domain, that should be available freely, and anyone can get access that particular data. When you're talking about interoperability, means the data should be, we are able to communicate the data from one format to another, from one machine to another machine, one format to another format, and we are able to interoperable the data and just make it more effectively useful. And then we're talking about reusability of the data. That means this is ultimate purpose of the research data management. Then when we are going to manage the research data, the data we are managing and uploading on a open data repository for reuse, so that your data should be well defined, organized with the metadata, and anyone can understand the importance of research data before use of that particular data. And data is all free from your all legalities. Therefore, that we can talk about the FAIR principle is applicable on your research data. Next is that stakeholder of research data management plan. Who is the responsible for what? This is one of the important, and here is the role of the librarian. I've been going to discuss how library can contribute. When talking about a stakeholder, that means who is going to what kind of say institution role. When talking about institution authority, institution responsibility is to frame proper clear-cut policy, well-defined policy, and that should be circulated among your respective fraternity. And again, they will have to ensure the principal investigator, the person who's taking the responsibility of the research, overall research or the research project. So they are more responsible for research data, and co-investigator of the research scholar who is going to create and generate the research data. They know the value of the research data. They know how to do the documentation of that, because they know the utility of data, how data is useful for others, and how long data has to be preserved. So these are the things. Research administrator, doing research means they will have to ensure whatever policy is framed by the organization that has been implemented properly. That means whatever research is taking place in the organization and whatever data they are going to generate, that data is available with the research project, research publication, and that research data can be utilized and reused later on. Team IT again can play an important role in case some organization going to initiate their own institutional level research data repository. They will have to ensure kind of security, kind of storage, and have to ensure proper security and accessibility of that data. And again, because there is a lot of things are involved, not only storing the data, but taking backup from time. How to ensure that the proper physical and virtual security of your research data. Next stakeholder is the library. Library can play a very important role in when you're talking about research data management. Library can help institution in framing a research data management policy. Librarian can create an awareness among the scholar community in the respective institution. Librarian can conduct a kind of training program, the way Sriram is conducting this research support services activities for 5 days in the respective institution, so that this kind of activity can help the scholar community to understand the research process, and can help faculty member research scholar, whatever data they have curated, generated during the research process. Library can help them to uploading the research data to create a metadata of the research data. And again, can help in when going to plan research data, how we have to plan research data management, how we have to plan research data. So there is a lot of things, and how the research data can impact the scholar community in case we are going to upload the data on open data repository. These are the stakeholders basically. And I believe that we can plan a lot more things from the library part, and how library can play an important role and can have more visibility. Yesterday, Dr. Ushesh was talking about the DMP, that is a data management plan. When somebody is going to plan the research data, they have to keep in mind the 6 steps. First and foremost step is the collection of data and or the study material. That means what type of the data we are going to collect, how much data has to be collected, what should be the data size, and which method we have to adopt in collecting the data. Anonymization is one of the important, because some personal information about a scholar should not be attached with the data. Second step is that storage. backup, security. That means how we are going to store our data. We are going to store our data internally in our particular server or a particular machine or in cloud, and how data how we can protect our data over the network, how and when we can take a data backup internally or externally, and then how to protect the data physically or virtually. Next step is that archiving and preservation of and curation. That means how to archive, including metadata standards. What type of the infrastructure will be required for archiving that research data? What type of the data must be kept, and how long have the data will be useful? Which data which data format we are going to use? Next step is that discovery, access, and sharing. That means which data repository we are going to use to upload our data. Will the people able to find it? Repository should generate a persistent identifier, DOI, or data access statement. When we are talking about metadata, that means next step is metadata. Who is going to upload the data? Who is going to put on metadata? And whatever are we going to put all enough data, metadata along with the data, so that the data can be retrieved easily, efficiently. Finally, is the right and responsibility. That means who is responsible for what. We should have to know who is having a right of the data, and what kind of data, legal aspect. That means which kind of license is applicable on the research data. These are the steps, and probably if you look at all these 6 steps, most of things has been covered, and this is nothing but an important step for managing data management plan. And there is some standard, this, if you look at this portal, DMP tool. DMP tool is a data management plan tool that giving a kind of standard templates, a kind of online form where you can they will ask having a certain number of questions and fields over there. Just you have to fill the data as per your research project or research themes. So there are some DMP tool which can help you out in managing in planning the research data. Next step is that what type of the data repository we have to use. There is 4 or 5 different type of the data repositories are there. One is the funder. Some of funding agency, they have created their own data repository, and they're expecting from the scholar or the scientist that whatever data they are getting through that particular project, that should be uploaded on the repository. Another that institutional data research data repository. Many of universities, look at Harvard or other universities, they have their own data repository. There are some general repository where that anyone can just register themselves and can start uploading the data. And there are some subject specific repositories over there, where that some based on your subject, there are some repositories are available where we can just register and can start uploading the data, and that is available freely open public domain. And next is the national level data repository. That some country, they have initiated the national data repository, and they're expecting that all that citizen of that country, they will upload the research data. Now, this is one of the important steps, how to initiate a research data repository in a university system. Though most of you and we are working in a academic institution, and how should we start a research data repository in our respective institution. So you have 2 choices. One, you can opt and select any of good data repository which having an all kind of feature is required in standard data repository, especially that should be allowed uploading a data. There should be free from all kind of limitation of data file formats, and the repository should have a kind of should able to generate in DOI of that every piece of the research data. Or institution can design their own data repository, like we used to develop that different publication repository. We have our own institutional repository. Similar way, we can plan our data repository. Or there is some repository where you can link your research data with your publication repository. So there is a number of repository, Dr. Usha Munshi said yesterday, and there is a number of repositories there, and fixed digital repository, Dataverse, Open Science Framework is one of the popular. So again, you people have to think and that what kind of data repository you are going to select for research data, how you are going to manage, whether you are going to plan your own data repository or you are going to use free data repository like FAIR. Now I'll be talking about the FAIR for a few minutes, and then I will show the online. Meanwhile, I request you all, the people who's attending this program on and using the laptop or desktop, please open a website, FAIR.com, so that I can show you lively. You people can create your account. Meanwhile, just put in a sign up and can start your research. If you look at this screen, FAIR. See the kind of, look at the 7.5 million data is already downloaded. 26 million. Yesterday we were talking about all metrics. All that metrics are available, and kind of data is already uploaded and downloaded, viewed. And more important is that more than 5,000 citation is generated by FAIR data repository. So let me show you the FAIR data repository. It was started in 2011 at Imperial College London and developed by Mark Hennell. And this is an open data repository, and nowadays is maintained by a digital science company. So I suggest you again to please log in here, http://fixer.com, and you can see here how you have to register yourself. Just click on sign up and fill that all information. This is a half-minute job, 30 seconds or 40 seconds. You can register yourself. Accept the term and condition and sign it. Siram, how much time we have?
It will be around 40 minutes.
We have another 40 minutes, no?
Yes, up to 1:10.
Okay. Okay, fine. Thank you. So I'll take a 1 minute here. I'll take a 1 minute break and suggest you all to please try to log in to try to create your ID and ID here for the FAIR. Just click on FAIR.com and just sign up for 1 minute. Just put a name, surname, and your email address, and just accept the all term and condition and click sign up. You will get your ID and password. And then you will get an email from the FAIR, and you have to verify your email ID, and thereafter you can log in. This is the workflow for the FAIR: upload, manage, share, and publish. And now, just to show some of feature of FAIR through PPT, then after I will take online. Meanwhile, you please create your account. If you after login, then you will get this dashboard, and you can see this 4 buttons. First is my data, another is project, collections, activities. Once you click on my data, you can see here this screen will appear here, and this is nothing but kind of metadata which will ask you to provide the data before just click here on this file here. You can upload the file in any format. Then after you have to fill the metadata, the title, authors, categories, subject, type, item, and you can put in description of your data. And select your categories, item types, and you can give the keywords, and you also have to describe your research data. Funding agencies and the other references of your publication you can give here. And again, look at here the licenses. CC/0, that is again Creative Commons. I'm sure that many of you are aware about the Creative Commons license, and which allowing the people to use, reuse, edit, mix, share. Again, one more important feature is that you can keep your data confidential in case your work is not completed. I will show you. And this green button means the status means that your data is published and available in public domain. Another important thing is that look at here 20 GB. Each and every user of that fixed air will get 20 GB space free of cost. In case you want you want more space, you can write them. The space can be increased. Look at that. This item is private. In case you want to put your data in confidential, you don't want to put on your data, research data in public. Due to whatever that some reasons, you can keep your data in confidential. You can not only keep data confidential, but you can embargo your data. Today, say you're thinking that maybe after 1 month your research will be completed, or research publication is under publication, and that will publish next 2 months. So you can embargo this your data for 2 months, and after 2 months, this data automatically will appear in a public domain, will get published automatically after completing embargo period. And there is a two-way. One thing is that you can upload your complete full text research data, or you can put in your metadata of your data. That is also not mandatory that your file should be available there, but you can just create a metadata of your research data. And a good thing is that FixAir generate and create a kind of DOI for each piece of data, so that data can be retrieved and can fetch easily. Second tab is that project. Project means when two or more than two people are going to work together in a project or one particular assignment, and in that sense you can create a project over here. You can add your collaborator, your co-author, and both can upload and download the data from here and can work together simultaneously. Create project. Again, when you're going to create a project, you have to put in a metadata like title and description of your project. Create new collections. You can create a collections, and collections means the used data is available in a fixed data repository. You can search if somebody is working on the similar area, so you can add that particular research data in your collection, and whenever you are going to do when you are going to do research in particular domain, that you can make that particular collection for your use. And good thing is that this FixAir is also allowing researchers to cite the data. If you look at the site, there is an option is there, cite the data, and there is a lot of citation style is available with this FixAir data repository. And somebody is found that your research data is useful for them. They can download the data, they can reuse the data, and can cite the data. And second thing is that they're giving Almetrics. Yesterday I was talking about Almetrics. You can see how many people has viewed your data, downloaded data, and in case citation, they can show the citation. So now I'm just coming online. I don't know how many of you people have created your account. So after login, you can see here. Let me see in case. After login, you can see your profile here. You can update your profile after login. You just can ORCID ID is also synced with this FixAir. Automatically data can be fetched. If you are logging through ORCID ID, you can log in without creating data, without getting a login on the FixAir. You can see the name, author, and this information can be updated after login. You can create your biographical information is available here. You can link your latest publication over here. After updating your data, personal data, then you can say my data, click on my data. So if you look at all green button, that means that we already has published this data in public domain. And today morning I created another data. I will just want to show you advances in research support in academic. This is current workshop is going on. I could just try to create here. Look at here. My PhD, this presentation PPT, I already uploaded in this particular fix here and available for you all. You can download this my PPT after creating your account in the fix here. You can search my profile and can see here. So this PPT is here. Just to put in title of your PPT, your author. I added Seram also because Seram, I found Seram name was there, and my another colleague Jamil. You can search or you can add author co-author by name, or you can, if you know that somebody is ORCID ID, you can add through ORCID ID also. Category means that the subject category, they have Fixer has their own classification system. They had created different kind of subject category. I selected libraries. Click libraries. There's another two classes there. I just selected both together. What kind of data I'm going to upload, that we have to select from here. Say I uploaded a presentation that is there. In case you can put in keywords, research support, I just create another one in case you want to add some more. Research skill development. You can some of case keyword is already inbuilt, and otherwise you can upload. And you can give a description of your research data so that people can understand before downloading the data.
Dr. Sanjay, I think you have not shared your login or screen. No? You share entire screen, then it will be coming.
Oh my God. Just wait. Why not show?
Probably Dr. Sanjay, you stop first and then stop sharing for PowerPoint and then go to the website. I think, right? That's how
wait. Let me do it. Is it visible now?
Yes, yes.
Oh, sorry, I was not really aware.
So you just revamp from where you have gone to.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Many of you already have registered or not registered, but you look at this is the process. You people can just log in and put your information, and this again you can update your profile from here. Put your they can fetch your ORCID ID automatically, or you can log in through the ORCID ID. And you can see that name, detail, your organizational, your face, your other link, social media's link you can give here. And you can update your biographical information. And in case you want to put some of latest publication, you can give the link of your publication over here and just update it. Save change. This is the first step after login. Thereafter, you just click on that My Data. When you're clicking on My Data, today morning I was trying to create one research data. I just wanted to upload my research this particular presentation. I just created this metadata here, and look at this. My PPT is available here. Okay, and just put in the title, author. I added Seram is one of the co-author, say something, and I can add more people like Jamil Ahmed. This is my colleague. I can add him. Like how you can add author, co-author from here. You can see the category. This FAIR have their own classification system. They have categorized that different subject here. You can see, and you can search from here. Library. You can select and see. And then in case you want to add some more keyword, you can add the keyword, research activity or something. You can just put your description of research data here, so that other scholar can understand the value of research data, and before downloading they can just go through the description of research data and can upload. And you can add funding if any funding organization is there. You can, in case your funding agency name is not there, you can add more grant, more funding agencies. This reference means you can give a DOI of any of your current publication which is published, or some paper as you people have published. Based on this research data, you can put in a DOI here, and that will be linked with your publication. And this is the license, how to grant a license. CC by 0, that is Creative Commons license, which allowing others to use, reuse, mix, edit, share your research data without any legal bound. This is the feature where you can keep your data. This is the item is private. You can publish at any moment. That if in case you want your data should be confidential, should not be available in public, then you can do here. Like you can apply embargo. When you click embargo, it will ask you how long you would like to put this publication data confidential. You can say 1 month, 2 months, and whatever. I found this this particular workshop is going to end on 1st November. Therefore, I just selected here 2nd November. 2nd November means that after on the 2nd November, this my PPT automatically will get published and available for use, reuse. And embargo, only file or the metadata you can select from here. Why this? Then you can give a reason for the embargo in case you want. The workshop is going on. After the workshop, it can be, and you can see that you can create an private link. Like say Sriram is already that has joined a fix here. In case I want to share something with the Sriram, just click here this, and I can save this URL to the Sriram, and Sriram can look at my activity and he can work on that. And you can see all features here. Let me go back. And then you can just save. You can publish. In case you want to publish, you can publish from here. This button means this is embargo, and you can put a link, something like that. You can save from here, and then after you can see the data is available here. And secondly, this is the in the person who's working individually for their own, then they can use that my data. And when somebody is going to work together in a group, they can create a project here. Just create a project, put that research support. Say I would like to put all that material of this workshop here in this fix here. He can upload all that presentation videos or whatever material he want to put. Just create a research support workshop, and all PPTs are available with video or something like something you can just put in your description. And in case somebody's funding agency is there, no private policy, private setting, you can see from here. Display with the project publicly, yes or no. Then you can save. You can create. So you can see the research support, and I can add Sriram or other people the way I added in my previous menu. And this collection means you can see somebody is working on research support, say research data management. I just search research data management and just trying to see in case some material is available on research data management. And then you can see some of data is reflecting here. Say I found this particular collection is quite useful for me. I can just click here. Just to see whether this is useful for me or not. And you can see the other feature of the fix here. You can see all metrics is also there. Just click here. You can see how many times the research data is viewed, downloaded, cited, or somebody's citation. I want to show from here. Just click on cite. If you want to cite this particular data, you can just see cite data and can see the different data styles. Say I want IEEE style. I'll just say IEEE with URL, okay, and you can see the data style is there. This is the IEEE data style along with the URL, and you can look at here the DOI of this particular research data. This is the feature of this fix here. And yesterday, somebody was talking that in case somebody is working in one group, and I just first version of this file is also available, and second time this in case somebody is updated this data is the second version, and it will show you all the history of the different version of your file, and all keywords are available here. You can see kind of available and kind of categories. In that way, we can see we can create a collection, and whenever we want to use so collections. This is the feature of the collection. If you look at collection item, my collection, you can see that I collected a few things, and I thought this will be useful for me, and later on I will study it. And after studying, I can cite this particular material research data from my account. This is almost done. All features are there. Activity that you can track an activity is something somebody creating some question you can get. That I already told. Yeah, Seram is almost done. Let us have a question in case somebody's. Dr. Yasha. Yes, Seram. Dr. Aisha.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Thank you so much, Dr. Sanjay. That was really an enlightening session. I myself am really an advocate for research data. As it's not just something in, but it's a concept that we all should be working with as librarians. As you've mentioned, the values of research data. We are there to be advocates, to help in framing RDM policies and developing policies. We are there as educators to create awareness and training and help scholarly community in terms of uploading the right research data. We are, more than ever, we are the ones who know much about metadata. So we're the people who are really, I believe, are knowledgeable or experts on this, or we can share our expertise. So there's a question from Kishore Zakaria. One is, can we open institutional account in Figshare? And second, can we use this space as data repository?
Yes, anyone can create an account in Figshare. and that's completely free because this is an open data repository, general data repository. And because ultimately, because as in India, this concept is not very popular, but that this concept is very much in practice in Western world, especially UK, US, and Europe. And scholar community is also not much aware about data management activities. Therefore, somehow we have to start from somewhere, and why not instead of creating your own data repository, investing a lot of money on storage and all things, let us start and understand that concept of research data management by using this open data repository. And if you look at that feature of all those repositories is remarkable. And good thing is that even in case you are going to use the data repository during your research process, after 5 or 10 years you can retrieve the data, or you can see the impact of your research data. Other people can reuse the data and can cite the research data. This is one thing. Second question related to the repository. Yes, in case you feel and found your research institutional repository are good enough to handle your research data, you are completely free to take a decision, and you can go ahead, because we already have worked with our institutional repository on a DSpace or APRINT. We know that the kind of duplicate metadata standard is over there, and how we can attach some data. But if you are going to upload your data on your private institutional repository, that data will be not visible with the the scholarly community. If you look at the feature of the fixed here, if just click put on any keyword of on your interest, you can see the number of research data is already available, so that you can find your peer over there. You can collaborate with the people. You can reuse. You can offer your research. Efficiency research activities. You can share your research expertise with them. You can collaborate with the other people, and can have a more impactful research.
I totally agree, Dr. Sanjay. Yeah, as we say, knowledge is no longer shelved. I believe so as data. But yeah, on the point of DSpace, I agree. I think, yeah, as a repository, I have experienced some are also using DSpace as a repository for raw data or data subsets or data sets. So I think at some point, there are actually a lot of data repositories that can be used for free. And there's also r3data.org that provides platforms. There are, I think, a lot of platforms, but I also agree that Figshare is an important one. Another question here is that at the organizational level, is this web application of Figshare, can this be used for institutions? Sorry, that was the question. The question that you already answered. It can be used for their internal repository. That was the question that you already answered. The other one is, what about copyright with publishers' concern? He is concerned that if we upload it in Figshare, there could be some copyright issues, which I think you mentioned about embargo a while ago.
See, related to copyright, I already told. Again, the scholar will have to understand the copyright. Say, in case your research is funded by public funding agencies, and you look at Plan S or that another DBTOA, DST, other funding agency, they are already, encouraging and asking the scholar to, whatever they are getting output of their research, that should be available in public domain, because that is a public funding, public funded agencies means public money. Public money is there, and the research they are funding, that is for the public, and the research output should be available publicly. So when you're going to say you're going to do research for a PhD, say PhD degree and all, you have to keep in your mind what kind of research data you're going to create. Who has a right? Whether your institution has a right for that, of your research intellectual, or you are having your own. You have to understand your level first. And what you're talking about research publication, that raw data, I'm talking, this is the raw data. And when you people are going to publish your research, you people can upload the data after the research and can link your published version of your paper through DOI with the research data, so that research anyone can see that whatever research you people have done, that is in a value that research data can support for the validation, and other people can understand, or whatever research you people are doing, that a lot of say chemistry people used to do a lot of experiment and having a different kind of composition of reactions, and do a lot of instrument. They used to use a lot of instrument and do a lot of analysis, and every scholar is used to do that kind of similar kind of analysis. And in case that data is available in public domain, that they will saving the time of the user. So that you people have to understand at your level kind of who is owning the right of your data, and accordingly you have to proceed. But public funded research is always encouraging that your research data should be available in public domain, so that anyone can reuse your research data.
Thank you so much, sir. That's really a very good explanation on that issue. I think I'd like to share these two questions because it's almost related. One is, what are the storage capacity in Figshare? And the second one is, what special features in Figshare when we compare to DSpace?
First of all, I just already told in my presentation that Figshare initially, when you're going to create your account, is giving a 20 GB space free of cost. And in case you want more space, then thereafter you can write to the Figshare. They are extending that storage space. This is one thing. Second thing, both repositories, say the DSpace and the Figshare, is entirely different, because the metadata standard of DSpace is in Dublin core, and here data standard is different. If you look at the metadata elements and all, it is entirely different. And I believe that Figshare is more user friendly than DSpace.
Okay. Yeah, I think aside from that, I don't have any other question, but me as a librarian myself and also a data advocate, I have observed this being part of an organization dealing with data science. So in some countries with huge data, librarians played an important role in RDM, or research data management. But if I look into some countries, mostly in Asia, there is no specific description or librarian as data librarian or data science librarian. Do you think, in your opinion, given the scope of DRM, would there be a need for specifically for data librarian or data science librarian?
Yeah, this is a very good question, Raisa. And because if you look at an Western practice of libraries, each and every, they have a very defined, clear role of the library professional over there. And if you look at any of university libraries like Harvard, MIT and all, if you see that you find a different kind of position over there, say physics librarian, say biotechnology librarian, say physics librarian, they have kind of well structured over there. And now they're talking about data librarian, okay, or data manager. So there is again the role of that person along with the specialized training. They are quite well equipped. They know the system. They know that kind of technology techniques, and they're good enough capable to manage the show. But here in Asian libraries, or especially in India, we have a different kind of culture structure in our institutions, and though. Nevertheless, but we are taking cue from that old world leader like an MIT or Harvard or other institution. We people are equipping ourselves, updating ourselves, and bringing that kind of best practices and respect to institution. And I'm sure that we'll have this kind of practice sooner or later.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Another thing is that as I may see it, coming from the Philippines and actually from Vanuatu, which is quite not so advanced country, RDM is quite a new concept. So there was a time when I wanted to explore indigenous knowledge data. I'm more inclined to qualitative research. What happened is there are no trainings in some countries that are as exhaustive as the more advanced countries like UK, Europe, and the US. I'm just curious. I know India is more advanced. In fact, you even have a national data repository. But are there specific institutions for or consortia or organizations for librarians that deal with data science?
Yeah, but good thing is that Aisha, somehow we understand that we are quite. If you look at librarianship in the Western world, there's an entirely different than other countries. And what good thing is that maybe soon, quite late, but later we are adopting and opting in all kind of things, and we have a good enough understanding. And though say a lot of topic we are going to cover in this workshop, which is quite new for the scholar community. And we as a librarian, especially emerging librarian, the young librarian, they should understand the concept. We are no more that kind of traditional librarianship and libraries, which having kind of passive role. We are more active nowadays, and libraries not the earlier we used to wait that user they used to approach the librarian coming to the. Libraries going to classroom. We are not waiting for the users. They'll come to the library and ask what they're expecting. Important is that how you are able to meet the expectation of your end users. So we say Ram has done a lot of effort and took a lot of initiative. Bennett, we did a lot of things, and other library, even though providing a lot of things, but that is not good enough. We have to actually provide what is expected by your end user, what they're expecting. And similar way, we have to support them so that they can get the maximum satisfaction, maximum, impact of library on their, teaching and the research activities.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Dr. Sanjay, for emphasizing that. That's indeed, we really need to play an active role for that. Before I proceed there are 3 more questions here, which are quite easy to answer. Before I proceed to that, I'd like to share just a bit about my experience which sparked my interest for data. There is this organization called AICTE. I'll be typing it here, AICTE.org. That organization could provide opportunities for fellowship when probably COVID, the pandemic is not that bad. They provide kind of a conference fellowship as well as small grants to promote research data, which could be an avenue. I always believe that our collaboration, our networking could be the key to that. Well, anyway, so there's still a lot of people who are interested with your topic. So I just wanted to raise this. One is asking, is there data privacy in Figshare, and are there limitations in Figshare? I know you've mentioned it a while ago, but probably just for emphasis, maybe you could comment on that.
Okay. I already say, Siran, are you able to see my screen now?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, I heard the screen.
I already shown that how you can make your data confidential. When you're going here, say, unless I'm not, publishing my data from here. Say, if you're clicking here, publish, and publish item, that will be available for any public domain, for anyone can look at in this particular data. Till I'm not publishing here this data, that will be your confidential data.
That's true. That's true.
Is it answer of that question or?
Yeah. So one thing they were saying is about limitations. I think you already mentioned a while ago the capacity for
capacity. Actually, I just look at here capacity. I already shown here. Look at here. This is a 20 GB space. Okay. And if you are using the fixer for your own and for your individual purpose, that is okay. But if in case somebody some organization going to involve and going to use this fixer, that you can connect an fixed office team, and they can having a MOU with your organization, and then they can have more customized services. They can completely change your interface with your university logo. They can have an understanding. They can there is some payment for more bigger space, say 200 GB or 500 GB or so, whatever, or terabyte. So you people can get, there is no as such, but this initially this is a 20 GB is available for free. Free use, just anyone can make use of this 20 GB. I think so 20 GB is good enough storage for individual person.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Uh,
I think I still have two more questions. We still have 2 minutes. Dr. Shri? Dr.
Yeah,
Singh?
so in fact, we have another person, Dr. John Paul Anbu from Swaziland. So we can also have his views, what sort of activity is going on in his region there in Swaziland. And we could also say hello to Dr. Raisa, and because we are meeting after so long time together
Oh,
to this
yeah.
platform.
Yeah,
So
it's
over
been
to
a
Dr. John Paul.
Good morning everyone. Good morning, Dr. Sanjay. Good morning, Raisa. Good morning, Shri. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to meet you all. My guru is sitting next to, my guru is right there, my guide. So I have to greet him first.
We are no guide. We are a good colleague, good friends. Sanjay, John.
Yes.
Guide is over with the PhD.
I have a slightly different view about certain things, mainly because from where we come in South Africa, we have slowly moved into the era of open data, and we no longer worry about article level data management. We worry more about the minor, the research data, the ones which were collected. That is where we are more interested. That's mainly because a couple of years back, we started a project called African Meerkat. Probably a lot of you would have heard about it, the big telescope. And millions of data is coming out from that one. Now, do we need the articles from which emanate from these data, or do we need the data itself for me to manipulate? So that is where we are now moving towards in Africa, because we have so much of data, and Europeans can't come to Africa to collect that particular data to manipulate. So we no longer worry about the end product. We worry about the raw data, and I think India has got one such potential for raw data to be stored somewhere. You know, I'm not sure whether Figshare allows you to store data separately so that I can take them and manipulate them. There are two sides to it, actually. One is to, like this will be, someone can manipulate it in such a way that it can be devastating. It can be completely opposite. But we have to understand, in order to take science forward, we need to keep a lot of these things open. And that is where Africa is now. So what we are doing at the institutional level. Now, the institutional repositories were the thing of the past. We were having institutional repositories almost 5 years back. Now we are creating data repositories where we insist everyone who deposit their research article to submit their research data, the ones which they collected separately, in a format which is accessible to everyone. So if you want to just take the data alone to manipulate, that's what we are doing. And at the institutional level, we try to create policies to just do this one, so that we believe in another 10 years time, instead of 100 outputs coming from a data, there can be 1,000 outputs which can come from the data. That is what we are moving towards in South Africa.
Mr. John, I don't know whether you have joined this presentation from very beginning or not. We are since last about 1 hour. We are talking about research data only. This is one thing, and I just shown you how India is also taking taking lead and working on that research data repository. And regarding a Figshare, I don't know whether you have used or not, but this Figshare is not a publication repository. It is entirely what you're talking about. Every piece of the research data generated, by the research fraternity, that can be managed with the Figshare data repository efficiently, effectively. And ultimate purpose of the FAIR is just to the whatever data is generated by research community in any particular country or worldwide, that research data, any of scholar community is able to upload the research raw research data. So the similar data, similar exercise is not required by other scholar. So that other scholar can make reuse of the data, can share the data, can cite the data, and in that way, the person who did actually research will get an impact of the research data on the society. So this is the ultimate concept of the FAIR, and how FAIR is started in 2001. You're talking last 5 years top, but FAIR started last 10 years ago. And ultimate concept of this whole scenario, that what we talking about institutional repository, that is a different concept, but this FAIR concept is entirely different. We still you rightly said that this particular era is more concerned of the piece of the data. Data is an power, and once somebody is able to understand the power of this data and able to curate and preserve the data and can organize the data in a structured way, and so that data can be utilized by anyone as and when it required. So that definitely will make a great impact. So my suggestion to all of you to please create your account in a FAIR and explore it and look at the kind of feature and why FAIR has been in. Not only FAIR, there is many other data, open data repositories are available. What Dr. John is discussed. And I believe that we librarians should understand the concept first. Then after we have to train ourselves. We need to do some experiment ourselves. Then once we are able to understand and have a kind of good enough expertise, then we should explore this concept in our respective institution. As I told you, I'm taking my PhD student classes. I'm teaching the research skills. I'm ensuring 38 students registered this year, and each and every scholar, they already have their FAIR account or any other data repository account. So then when they're going to start the research and then when they're going to generate different kind of research data during the research process, that should be that can be uploaded and can be utilized as and when required, even during research process or after 10 years of research, the data is available. And so that research data can make a more impact than your research publication. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sanjay. I think you really have a very enlightening discussion. For me, if I follow through the whole thing, given that I have an idea of how I utilize research data, that was perfectly a comprehensive explanation of it. But I think I would like to emphasize, it looks some of the questions here, they're relating the FAIR or data repositories into blogging and publication. That's not what we were intending to. We're focusing on data repository, data as raw data, which was clearly explained by Dr. Sanjay a while ago. One last thing, which I think is very relevant before I close this, I forward this to the vote of thanks. One last question is, which is very relevant because I know I've been struggling to work on the standards. So the question is, any standards maintained while uploading? I don't want to say article. I wanted to say if there are metadata standards for raw data, for developing raw data. I know there are various standards that we can use. Dr. Sanjay, any comment on standards for data? I know DDI is one. They really have a good standard.
They have their own metadata standard. If you look at the metadata format here, you just first click here, browse, collect just select any data, put it here, and then after just fill the title, author. You can add more and more author. You can see the category as per categorized by that fix here. You can just select your like in a view librarian, have to select here library. You can select a library, and then after the FAIR has their own metadata standard and not in that kind of duplicate over the Mark 1. But
yeah,
metadata is good enough and good enough provision to describe your metadata. You see the description, because before downloading, before using the research data, one person can just show the description of the research data, so that other user can understand the importance of the research data, whether they should use this data in the research or not. And this also link with the funding agencies. Even in case somebody is going to publish this research based on this research data, that they can put in a DOI of that research data here, this particular publication, so that when somebody is going to use this research data, can access that publication, and that can cite that publication in the research. And the license applicable 004 CC by 04, that again allowing others to reuse the data, to edit the data, or to share the data. Again, embargo, all features are already available. I found this is quite useful for initiating this kind of thing, practice in the respective institution.
Yeah, Dr. Shri,
please.
I'm done. I think that was the last question that we are about to answer. And one final words. I'm just happy to be joining you all today. It's quite a reunion for at least for all of us. And thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you so much for all the knowledge sharing that's happening today. It was really actually a great initiative. There's so many enlightening points here. For me, it was also a review. But yeah, a lot of words. I can say a lot of words about data management and about literature review. But I think we are in the part of closing, as Dr. John will be the next speaker later. I give the floor to Dr. Shri.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Raisa, for organizing this session very nicely, and we are very, very thankful to you. We understand that we have taken your lot of valuable time from Philippines. So I'm really thankful to you. So I think if any person having any query related to this session about RDM, so you are most welcome to pose the question to us, and we will connect Dr. Sanjay about all your queries. And if possible, we'll try to send you all the details, all the PPTs, whatever deliberations is going on. Everything will be available to you at the end of the workshop. And we will also sharing the details of the speaker so that you can directly connect to them about whatever query you have, whatever suggestions you have. And please do not forget, once again, please do not forget to give us feedback about the workshop at the end of the workshop on day 5. And your test question will be available on day 5 only. So please don't bother about you. We are monitoring your attendance online through Zoom platform. So everyone is requested to log in with your email ID and password, giving your full name, first name, last name, and Gmail, whatever email account you are using, so that we can monitor it perfectly and put your attendance at the AICTE portal. So, I just last word to Dr. Raisa, and say a vote of thanks from us. Archana is there. Dr. Singh.
Ji, sir.
Yeah. So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Hello, everyone. I, Archana Nanda, once again take this opportunity to present a vote of thanks on behalf of the Program Organizing Committee and my own behalf. I would like to thank Dr. Sanjay Kataria, sir. I thank you, sir, for gracing the occasion with his insightful thoughts on research data and information management. Sir very exhaustively explained the types of research data, its management, organization, storage, and its preservation. He also explained its use in research projects and, of course, the role of library in these activities. I hope these contents will add to your knowledge. Thanks are also due to our moderator, Dr. Raisa Valenzuela. Madam, thank you so much for sparing your time and moderating our sessions and taking up questions of the participants. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, John, sir, for sharing your experiences. I would also like to thank all the participants too. Thanks a lot once again. Thank you.
So thank you, Archana. Thank you, Arsing. Thank you, Harpreet, for involving this in this session. So we have another 1 hour. So we are going to back again on the same platform, same link. Everything is there, and we are just going to end up this session now. And please join us 2:20 sharp, because our panel member, Dr. John Paul Anbu, is he's going to be on board from Swaziland. So let us hear one of the very important aspect of electronic resource management, which is going to be crucial for managing the electronic resources, both in terms for the librarians as well as the researchers who are engaged in their research activity. So thank you once again. Thank you, Dr. Raisa. Hope to connect you once again with some another platform. Thank you, Dr. Sanjay. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
So hope to meet you once again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sam. Thank you
Right.
very much.
Thank you.
See you, Aisa.